The snow started falling before sunrise, thick, heavy, and silent. It covered the highway like a white wall, swallowing sound and sight. Most drivers had already pulled over. Some abandoned their cars. Some prayed inside frozen metal shells. But Emma Carter kept driving. She was 34, a long-haul truck driver, raised in a small mountain town where winters were cruel and unforgiving. Her father taught her how to drive on ice before she was old enough to vote. He said, "The road speaks if you listen." That morning, the road was screaming. Radio warnings echoed through the cab. Authorities urged everyone to stay off the interstate. Visibility had dropped to almost nothing. Temperatures were falling fast. Emma tightened her grip on the wheel. She had a delivery of medical supplies. Hospitals were waiting. Turning back was not an option. As she passed mile marker 72, she saw the first sign of trouble. A small sedan stuck sideways, blocking one lane. Hazard lights blinking weakly through the snow. A woman inside waving frantically. Emma slowed her 40-ton truck with expert precision. She pulled in front of the car, creating a barrier from oncoming traffic, stepped out into the storm. The wind nearly knocked her over. Snow stung her face like needles. She reached the car. Inside were a mother and 2 children, terrified, cold, the engine dead. Emma shouted over the wind, "Follow me now, stay close." She led them back to her truck, wrapped the kids in spare blankets, gave them water and energy bars. She called emergency services. Lines were jammed. Help was hours away. That was when Emma made a decision that would change dozens of lives. She turned her truck sideways across the highway, blocking traffic completely, creating a shield against the storm. Cars began to appear, one by one, then many. Drivers abandoned their vehicles and ran toward the massive truck, some crying, some bleeding, some barely conscious from the cold. Emma opened her doors. Every door. Every compartment. She turned her truck into a moving shelter. Inside the cab, people huddled together, breathing fog, sharing warmth. Emma kept moving, checking cars, dragging people out, carrying those who could not walk. Her boots filled with ice. Her fingers went numb. Her eyelashes froze together. Still, she moved. By midday, over 20 people were inside or near her truck. By nightfall, it was more than 40. The storm worsened. Power lines collapsed. Cell towers failed. The highway disappeared. Emma used flares to mark the area, used her truck lights to guide lost drivers, used her body heat to revive a man who had stopped breathing. She sang to calm children, told stories, lied about rescue being close, because hope was the only warmth left. As darkness swallowed the storm, Emma climbed back into the driver's seat, started the engine again. Fuel was low, but she knew something others did not. There was a maintenance exit 2 miles ahead, a place with old plow sheds. If she could reach it, she could save them all. She whispered to herself, "Listen to the road." And the road answered. She put the truck in gear and slowly, carefully began to move. Behind her, dozens of lives depended on every inch she drove. The truck moved like a wounded animal, slow, heavy, fighting every inch. Snow piled against the wheels. Wind pushed from the side, trying to tip 40 tons of steel. Emma leaned forward, listening, feeling. Inside the cab, people held their breath. Children clutched blankets. Adults whispered prayers. Emma kept both hands steady, eyes scanning shadows through white chaos. Every movement mattered, every second. The highway no longer looked like a road. It was an empty, frozen ocean. No lines, no signs, no edges. Emma trusted memory. She had driven this route dozens of times, in summer, rain, fog, never like this. A car suddenly appeared ahead, half buried, door open. Emma stopped. She climbed down again. Her legs screamed with pain. Cold had reached deep into her bones. Inside the car was an elderly man, unconscious, his lips blue. Emma wrapped him in her jacket, lifted him with all her strength, and carried him back. People made space. Someone cried quietly. Emma rubbed the man's hands, breathing for him, talking constantly. "Stay with me. You are not alone." After minutes that felt like hours, the man coughed. Weak, alive. A small victory. But the storm did not care. Fuel gauge dropped further. Engine temperature warning blinked. Emma knew she had limited chances. She pressed on. The maintenance exit should have been close, but snow erased landmarks. Wind howled louder. Darkness thickened. Then the truck slid, just a few inches, enough to cause panic. Emma corrected smoothly, heart pounding. She remembered her father's words. Fear stiffens the wheel. Trust keeps it moving. Another vehicle appeared, then another. People were everywhere now, some running blindly, some frozen beside their cars. Emma used the horn, long, steady blasts, a signal. "Come here, follow the sound." She opened the trailer doors. Cold rushed in, but there was space. People climbed inside, huddled together, sharing warmth. Emma counted. 50. Then more. She stopped counting. Her body felt distant, hands cracked, face numb. She tied a rope from the cab to the trailer so she could move without losing direction. Outside, the storm screamed. Inside, humans survived. Hours passed. Time lost meaning. Then she saw it, a faint, dark shape through snow. The exit. Emma almost cried, but reaching it was not enough. The slope down. Emma opened her eyes to darkness, not the violent white of the storm, but a calm, heavy black. For a moment she thought she was still outside, frozen, buried. Then she felt warmth, a blanket, a steady humming sound. Voices. She tried to move. Pain rushed through her body, sharp and deep. "Easy now," someone said. Light appeared, soft, yellow. Emma realized she was inside the plowshed, lying on a makeshift bed of coats and blankets. Rescue workers moved around, their faces tired, eyes wide with disbelief. "You almost lost consciousness out there," one man said. "Another 10 minutes and it could have been different." Emma swallowed. Her throat burned. "Are they safe?" she asked. A pause, then a smile. "All of them." Relief washed over her, strong enough to make her cry. Outside, the storm still raged, but the shed was full of life. Children sleeping, adults sharing food, paramedics checking pulses. Someone counted again. 63 people. 63 lives. Emma closed her eyes, not to sleep, just to rest. But the night was not done. A loud crash echoed outside, metal screaming, glass breaking. Another truck had slid off the road near the exit, hit the barrier, stopped just short of disaster. Emma tried to stand, was pushed gently back. "You have done enough," they said. But she listened. The road still spoke. That truck was carrying fuel. If it leaked, fire would end everything. Emma forced herself up. She knew trucks. She knew sounds. She walked out into the storm again, ignoring pain, ignoring fear. Rescue crews followed. The fuel truck was damaged, but not ruptured. Yet. Emma shouted instructions. "Kill the engine! Block the wheels! Secure the valves!" Her voice cut through the wind, clear, commanding. Men twice her size listened. They worked together, hands freezing, time racing. Finally, it was safe. When it was done, a firefighter looked at her, shook his head. "You should not even be standing." Emma shrugged. "The road needed me." Dawn crept slowly, gray light replacing darkness. The storm weakened, exhausted itself. Helicopters appeared overhead, a sight that made people cheer. Evacuation began. Children were carried out, wrapped, smiling weakly. Adults thanked her, over and over. Some knelt, some hugged her. Emma felt overwhelmed, embarrassed. She did not feel like a hero. She felt like a driver who listened. As she was guided toward an ambulance, a reporter appeared, camera shaking in the cold. "Why did you stop?" he asked. "Why risk everything?" Emma looked back at her truck, covered in ice, still standing. "Because the road asked me to." That answer would travel far. Later, at the hospital, doctors treated frostbite, exhaustion, minor injuries. Emma slept for 12 hours. When she woke, her phone was full. Messages, calls, unknown numbers, news channels, trucking companies, government offices. The story spread. A woman truck driver, blocking a highway, saving dozens, defying a deadly storm. People called her brave, a miracle, a guardian. Emma turned the phone face down. She thought of the children, the elderly man, the crying woman. That was enough. But the world was not done with her yet. News spread fast. Social media exploded. Videos captured by stranded drivers showed a massive truck, headlights cutting through snow, doors open, people huddled inside, faces frozen, yet alive. Emma never sought attention, never imagined herself a hero. She had only done what anyone should have done. But the world did not see it that way. Headlines called her a savior, a miracle, the woman who stopped a storm. She received calls from trucking companies, job offers, interviews, invitations to speak. Emma ignored most. She needed silence. She needed rest. She needed to feel the road under her hands again. But life did not wait. People wanted her story. Children from the storm wrote letters. Adults called her an angel. Even strangers hugged her on the street. Emma smiled politely, said little, but her mind wandered back to the highway, the snow, the fear, the way people trusted her. One morning, she received a letter, handwritten, from the mother of the 2 children she had saved. "Thank you," she read aloud quietly. "You saved our lives. You gave us hope. You taught us courage." Emma felt a lump in her throat. She could not reply. She remembered the storm, the way it roared, the way she moved, the way dozens of lives depended on a truck and one pair of hands. Weeks passed. The story was told and retold. Awards came, appearances, TV interviews. Each time, Emma left early. Each time, she avoided the spotlight. She preferred the cab of a truck, the hum of the engine, the smell of diesel, the quiet rhythm of the road. But the attention brought responsibility. People asked her to train others, to speak about safety, to inspire drivers everywhere. Emma did. She shared her story, not for fame, not for glory, but so that others would listen to the road, to the storm, to each other. At the trucking school, she taught emergency maneuvers, how to stay calm under pressure, how to turn fear into action, how to survive. Her story inspired a new generation. Women entered trucking, fearless, determined, aware that courage could come in any size or shape. Meanwhile, Emma kept driving, long hauls across mountains, plains, deserts. She never stopped, never slowed. The road still spoke, and she still listened. Every mile reminded her of those nights in the storm, of faces frozen yet alive, of the lives she had touched. The world may call her a hero, but she knew the truth. She was just a driver who did what needed to be done. But sometimes, just doing what is right is enough. Spring arrived slowly. Snow melted into streams, highways reopened, life returned to normal for most. But for Emma Carter, nothing would ever be normal again. The storm had changed everything, not just her, but the world that witnessed her courage. Her story was written in newspapers, magazines, online platforms. It became a symbol of resilience, of listening to the road, of putting others before oneself. Emma continued driving, her truck always ready, her routes long and demanding, yet her heart light, filled with the knowledge that she had made a difference. People still recognized her, stopped her at gas stations, asked for photos, shared their own stories of survival. She answered with quiet smiles, sometimes a nod, sometimes a few words, always humbly. She never sought fame. She never wanted glory. She only wanted to keep moving, to keep helping when needed. One day, she returned to the small mountain town where she grew up, the place that taught her to respect the road, the place that gave her courage. Children ran to her, eyes wide with admiration. Parents smiled proudly. She spoke to them, told them stories of winters, of listening, of acting, of bravery not measured in medals, but in deeds. Later, she visited a hospital. The elderly man she had rescued was there, alive, strong, grateful. He held her hand. "Thank you," he said. "You gave me a second chance." Emma felt tears rise. She hugged him. No words could capture the storm, the fear, the hope, the life saved. Her truck still waited outside, her faithful companion, metal and engine and tires, but more than that, a symbol of persistence, of courage, of protection. Emma knew storms would come again. Icy highways, blinding snow, people in need, and she would be there because she was not just a truck driver. She was someone who listened to the road, to the storm, to the people. Her legacy grew through every mile she drove, every life she touched, every story told. Years later, she would tell young drivers, "Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting when fear is everywhere." And the world would remember a woman truck driver who saved dozens during a deadly snowstorm, who refused to stop, who refused to turn back, who trusted herself and trusted the road. She smiled once more, hands on the wheel, engine humming beneath her, the horizon wide and open. Emma Carter, still driving, still listening, still ready. Her story ended only when the last mile was driven, and even then, it lived on in every heart that remembered the woman who became a beacon of hope in the white fury of winter.